One day, one day. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month means celebrating our culture, Black history, Black influence, and learning because you need to learn about Black culture and history and people. That's what Black history means.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month to me means 1 month to celebrate where African Americans came from.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
It gives recognition to people who fought for our rights and our freedoms.
Black History Month is equality for everyone.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month to me is sort of like a day of recognition where people, Blacks in history, get like the praise and they get the attention that they should have had back then. And it's just a way of remembering what it once was, so we never really forget what we once had.
Black History Month to me is to show and have a time where we learn about everything that had happened in Black history. But it's not just a month that needs it, it's like the entire year, however long they go. Like the history that's there, it's been there. And they've had such a hard time, and I feel like the month for it like really shows, and it shows everyone what it means to those people.
Why do you think Black History Month is important?
To recognize African American achievements in history.
Why do you think Black history is important?
Because it shows the difference in here and now.
Why do you think Black History Month is important?
I think Black History Month is important because it helps a lot of accomplishments stand out that were important back then, but also important now that we just don't notice. So Black History Month, it kind of brings out all of the important things that stood out more back then.
How is Black history important to you?
It's important to me because it shows us and me, myself, how far African Americans have came and how successful we have become. Yeah.
Why is Black history important to you?
Black history is important because it shows basically how far like all of our ancestors has came, and it shows all the important stuff that us Blacks did, even through racism and discrimination that we had against us, and we overcame all of our challenges.
Why is Black History Month important?
Black History Month is important because we're remembering all the great things that the Black historians have done and like the changes like we have gone through and how our nation has grown.
Why do you think Black History Month is important?
It is important because it recognizes African American history.
Why is Black History Month important to you?
Black History Month is important to me because it honors all our ancestors and what they did for us.
Why is Black History Month important to you?
I think Black History Month is important because it's making sure that we preserve all the things that have happened in the past to a certain race, and making sure that we don't forget what's happened, and making sure that we don't let the same bad things that happened in the past happen again.
Why is Black History Month important to you?
Black History Month is important to me because it shows what African Americans have accomplished over the years.
Why is Black History Month important?
Because it tells us like the history of African Americans back then who actually stood up for their rights and everything, and how they did great things.
How do you feel about Black History Month?
I think Black History Month is important because, well, we all share culture. Here in America, we all have different races, and I think the black community has become a major part of helping us become a better community.
Who is your favorite Black history leader and why?
Our favorite leader is Martin Luther King.
He died fighting for our racial equality.
And with that, he paves the way for the future.
Who's your favorite African American poet and why?
I would have to say my favorite African American poet would be Maya Angelou, because she's one of the poets that's lived during our time, and she's written so much great poetry. So she's just one of my favorite poets, and it was just great to have her as one of the poets that were like alive during our time.
What is your favorite African American literature?
It's hard for me to narrow down one famous African American writer, but I love the poetry of Langston Hughes. I'm also a big fan of Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, and I love the play A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. If you haven't read any of those, you need to.
Who is your favorite Black history leader and why?
Rosa Parks is our favorite Black history leader.
Because she stood up for her right, because she felt the need to sit where she was, because she felt, why does she have to move for someone else, another race, to sit there? That's discrimination, and there shouldn't be cause. Just because I'm one color and she's one color doesn't mean that we can't sit together, or I have to move because you're the dominant person. It shouldn't be like that. Everyone has equal rights and should be fair.
Who is your favorite Black history leader and why?
I would say Barack Obama, because he showed us all people that black men do have good opportunities in life, and black men can be successful.
Who is your favorite Black history leader and why?
The Forgotten Five, because they did something really great in history.
Martin Luther King Jr. because he helped people and gave a speech about what was right.
Who is your favorite Black history leader and why?
I would say Martin Luther King because of his I Have a Dream speech, and he fought for different races and made sure they were all equal.
Why should we learn about Black history?
We should learn about it because it tells us about the past and how we've changed, of how people are now equal. But because back then people were treated very wrongly because of their race, but now everybody's equal.
Why should we learn about Black history?
I feel like we should learn about Black History Month because we learn about all the other important leaders and the ones that made this country go forward, but black people helped make this country go forward too. And on top of that, we have a lot of great inventions that we did that some of us as black people, we don't know, and we need to get to know our history.
Why do you think Black History Month should be taught in schools?
If we didn't have Black History Month, I think that the kids wouldn't know how hard African Americans had to work to get who they are today, and they wouldn't know the achievements that they had.
Why is it important that we learn about Black History Month?
Alright. We should learn about Black History Month because for so long the culture of this race was hidden from everyone, and they didn't have a chance to show their literature, their dress, their culture, their beliefs. So Black History Month was created as a way to help everyone know and appreciate the beauty of this culture and to help with the diversity and the melting pot of the United States. So it's important for us to learn because it's just one more beautiful thing that adds to the enrichment of our country.
Who are some of your favorite African American artists?
Michael Jackson, I know Richie, Salt-N-Pepa, Snoop Dogg, my husband Drake, Shaggy, Queen Bee, Jay-Z. Woo!
How has African American history influenced you?
African American history influenced me to be kind to everyone.
Is racial equality significantly different now than it was then?
I think it's different. It's still kind of iffy on controversial topics, but it's definitely evolved.
How has rights for African Americans changed from then to now?
Schools and other public places aren't segregated anymore.
How has society changed dealing with equality?
Society has changed because blacks have gotten more things. You can use the same water fountain as people, you can use the same printer as others. We're in the same school building together, and we have things that we didn't have back then.